welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Mika. Thank you so much for stopping in. Heart to heart, are long distance relationships really worth it? That is a good question, because when you're dealing with a long distance relationship, there's a lot that comes into it, more than what you would expect if you were in a relationship with someone who was in your city or in your state or close by. Long distance relationships require a lot of trust, a lot of understanding, a lot of communication, a lot of patience, a lot of prayer. And it takes you being committed to that. You have to be seriously, genuinely committed to being in a long distance relationship, or else it's just not going to work. If you're half in, half out, you know, 1 foot out the door, 1 foot in, it won't work, because your drive to push forward and to make sure that the relationship survives and make sure that you're giving it the full energy that you need to give it will be low. So in a long distance relationship, it's a lot of risk. It's 50-50. You don't know what's going to happen, but the way that I look at it is, you don't know what's going to happen with the person that lives right down the street from you. So limiting God and saying that a long distance relationship isn't worth it, it's not going to work, people shouldn't get in them, I feel like it's just stepping on your own feet, because you don't know. Maybe God has your person in another state or another city because he wants for you to get out of your comfort zone and move to that other person's state or their city. Or maybe you two may want to move abroad somewhere differently together, but you were afraid to do it on your own. But now that you're in a relationship or married, hopefully you don't make these big decisions to relocate without marriage being the ultimate goal, or without being married first. In the journey of being in a long distance relationship, you have to have faith. And I'm not trying to make this all religious and stuff, but you really do, because what you don't see, God sees it and he will put it on your spirit. But if you don't have that relationship with God, if you're just out here dating in this type of relationship off of your own strength and your own understanding and your own perspective of trust for that person, you're playing with fire. Because people are not going to tell you who they really are. You have to see. That's why it's important to see if people's words matches with their action. That way you know if it's legit, or if they're putting on the front, or if they're just talking out the side of their neck, or they're just acting in certain ways, but then their words are letting you know there's something deeper that's going on that maybe you're not okay with. So always put God first, put Jesus first, pray every night. You and your partner need to be communicating excessively, because you guys don't have ability to communicate in person, come and see each other in person. So while you guys are dating long distance, between the times that you're able to see each other and the times that you're not, you're going to have to be communicating like crazy. There's times where you're going to be like, I don't have anything to say, I don't even want to pick up this phone. Do it anyway, because any chance that you give for the devil to sneak his way in, or for your partner to get in their head and start thinking, oh, maybe this person doesn't like me, or maybe they're losing interest in me, just off of one day of not communicating, that's how that person can feel, because they don't have that one-on-one interaction with you to keep the relationship and the momentum going. So all you guys have is communication. And don't always try to just aim to talk on the phone. Get on that FaceTime. Trust me, I don't like FaceTime myself, but it's something that you have to do, because you need to reassure that person that, for one, that you are still interested, in reassure them on what did you look to, you keeping yourself together, you know, they need to see you too. And it's just something that's different when you can see, when a person's talking to you and you can see their facial expressions. It's a different conversation versus just talking on the phone and you just hearing their words. So give that to them, a little bit of both. A lot of FaceTime though. You can do phone conversations, you can do texting too, but make sure that you are putting in all the avenues of communication that you can. And you have to be excessive with it. Not excessive as in, oh, I like you so much, you're so beautiful, you're so handsome, I want to be with you. Don't do that. Don't do that. We're not saying that, because if you're not going to keep that up when you guys move to the same city together, then don't start it now, because if it changes, that person's going to feel like you're not interested. So be true. Be honest to who you are. Don't try to overdo your like for that person. Just gradually show them. Show them in the capacity that you're able to show them. Don't overdo it. Don't over splurge on them. Don't over compliment them, overspending your money and all this kind of stuff. If you're not going to continue that same energy once you guys are together, living together or living in the same city together, don't do it now. That's one of the things I know is really hard because it's tempting to be like, well, I want to really show this person I like them a lot. But that's where prayer comes in. That's where you having that relationship with Jesus and asking Jesus to open your partner's eyes to see who you are. And you have to be okay with if they see who you are, they don't like you. You have to be okay with that. You have to still pray that prayer. God, allow my partner to see me and to know whether or not I'm the person, the right person for them, and open my eyes to see them and allow me to see whether or not they're the right person for me. And you have to be unselfish. Even if you like that person a whole lot, you have to, because that's where God will step in. Jesus will step in for you. And you want that. You don't want to be in a relationship with somebody anyway who truly don't want you, or the whole time they were seeing someone else, but they got away with it because they were living in a whole nother city or state. You don't want that. You want it to be genuine. And you want to know that that person is willing to fight for you and willing to abstain from sex if that's what you guys are doing. You don't want, okay, we're abstaining, but my partner's out there doing whatever he wants to do, or vice versa. We're abstaining, but I'm out here doing what I want to do because I have needs. And I think that's why a lot of people say long distance relationships are not worth it. They are not real. And I get that. I used to think the same exact way. And sometimes those thoughts creep in my head. But I am a firm believer you cannot limit God. Because if anybody would have asked me years ago, would I ever see myself living outside of Indianapolis, Indiana, I would have told you no, absolutely not. For one, it was fear. Let's be honest, it was fear. And for two, it was comfort. So I didn't ever think I'm going to move outside of Indiana. Like, for what? I've lived here most of my life. I was established. I had friends. I had a lot of things. And then I left and I came to Houston, Texas with nothing. I got rid of all my things. I came here, I only had a couple of friends. And I had family, but we weren't close. And it was just a lot that I had to give up, and a lot of loneliness, a lot of trusting in God, a lot of putting my faith at my forefront. But I did it, and it's actually been the best decision that I've made. I have so many more opportunities. I'm happier. A lot more things that God knew that I needed, like the weather and just people. I'm a people person. I am a social butterfly. So people are friendlier and more people like me. It's just a lot. And I didn't know that I needed that, but God knew that I needed that. And so I did not limit him. And because I did not limit him, he's blessed me so much in so many ways. So when I think of it that way, it helps me to say, okay, God, if this is what you have for me right now, if this is my potential husband, just someone that I'm learning from, whatever it is, reveal that to me. And I'm not going to shut it down because we're not in the same city. I'm not going to shut it down because we're not in the same state. I'm not going to try to think human. Like, I'm not trying to use my logic to make sense of the situation, because people do it all the time and they end up happily married. People end up in relationships all the time in their own city, in their own state, and they end up miserable. I've been there too. So let me tell you, it does not matter. But we have to get past the needs. First of all, we need to be moving away from those fleshly needs, because if we're trying to build a godly relationship and enter into a godly marriage, we shouldn't be worried about that anyway. And I think that's the only thing that makes long distance relationship hard, especially if you're not a virgin, because you're used to physical touch, and we all know that physical touch leads to other things. So if you are faith-based and you are a believer and you want to do things the right way, then being in a long distance relationship may actually help you in the end, because you're not thinking to let me jump your bones every chance I get, because it's there and you're my person, I'm your person, and let's do this. But throughout the time that you're not seeing each other, you're in your word, you're praying, you're asking for strength, because it does get hard. You have fleshly thoughts. But when you're only able to see your partner 2 or 3 days out of the month, if you keep that faith and you ask God for strength to not allow you to go into it thinking of fleshly desires, it's going to encourage you to learn more about this person. You guys are going to spend more time trying to hang out and get to know each other, maybe meet people's families and things like that. You're not going to be focused on the sexual aspect. And if you need to, get you a hotel room. Don't stay at your partner's house. You got to do whatever it takes to keep you out of that sin and to keep you out of sexual bondage, because that'll mess up everything. Because then you'll be yearning for something. Like I said, you may see your partner 2 or 3 days out of the month, or sometimes not at all. So you don't want that desire to be building up, and then you're like, well, I got needs, and then you go do it somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so much. And I just feel like at the end of the day, to answer the question, are long distance relationships worth it? I believe that they are. I believe they're just as much of a gamble as a relationship that's close to you. But you need to enter into it with God and with Jesus, because you should not just be connecting to just anybody. You need to pray about that person before you agree to get into a commitment with them. And you need to know as much as you can about that person. Know about their spirit, know about their background, know about their family, know about their good habits, their bad habits. You need to learn. Let them tell you first. Your job is just to watch and see if it's true. But don't just jump in. Oh, someone's talking to me. I'm interested. He's cute. She's pretty. Let me get in a relationship. No, like, you need to be praying over that person to make sure that you do need to move forward with this person. So to me, if you do all that first, and then you end up in a committed relationship with somebody who's long distance from you, I believe it is worth it. If you keep God first, if you try your hardest to be faithful to God and His Word, and if your partner's willing to do the same thing. You don't want to be with somebody who's going to be trying to pressure you into the bed. You're not going to want to be with somebody who's going to try to pull you away from God. You don't want to be with somebody who believes something opposite of what you believe. That's all important. And I believe that because God is in it, because Jesus is in it, it's less scary entering into that relationship when they have your back. They're going to let you know if there's something that you need to know. And if you're listening, you know whether to continue on in that relationship or to go ahead and get out of it. But when you just go in on for your own strength, you are setting yourself up to be exposed to any and everything and to be played. But that's just my thoughts on it. Just remember, ultimately, the decision is yours. Don't listen to what other people have to say. Take it to God. That's all I can say. It's very much an humbling type of relationship, type of commitment, because you have to trust so much. You have to be very vulnerable, because that person, they need to be able to bond with you. They need to be able to connect with you. They need to be able to see if you're the person for them or not. So that is my thoughts on it. Y'all let me know what you think. Let me know if you have experienced long distance relationships. If you're in one, let me know how that's going for you. Let us know if there's any other advice that you would give to us in the comment box below. You can send me an email. Let me know your thoughts there. We can converse back and forth through my email, or if you want me to share a testimony for you or even some advice, I would do that without sharing any of your personal information, unless you want me to. Or you can leave me some new topic ideas that you would like to talk about. So let me know what your thoughts are. We'll keep the conversation going and talk next time. Bye.